Like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos from PHN Learn. For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.
Hello guys, welcome back to the Android to Development tutorial by PHN Technology Private Limited. So we are on a restaurant billing system project, and we have till now we have added a new activity, we have set the redirections, and we have also seen how to change this title label of an app, okay, how to use checkboxes. Now after generating the bill, we have done this thing. We have to design this second activity. As the design that we are going to do should appear on the second activity, its code should be written in the second activity design file, that is activity_payment.xml file. Now what is my requirement? Whatever the data I have, okay, so here, okay, let us move on to the next point. I will come back to this point further. Okay, so first let us design. We will go to the split section, and here I will first change this constraint layout to linear layout. In this linear layout, I will first add a text view, text, select mode of payment. We will design it a bit. It's a text color, then text size, then gravity, center, and we need to change the orientation vertical, okay, so that it will be vertically on the center, and we will give it a margin top a bit 20 SP. After this, we have to give choices to the user like net banking, Google Pay, credit card, debit card. Out of these choices, user is allowed to select only one choice. So here we cannot use checkboxes because checkboxes allow multiple selection. So for only one single selection, we have to use radio buttons. So let us see how to add radio buttons. Yeah. Select mode of payment. Okay, now I will add a radio button. So what happens when you add radio buttons? Radio buttons also work like checkboxes. You can select all the radio buttons at a time. But what I want is, out of group of these 4 radio buttons, only one should be selected at a time. So to achieve this, we have to first add radio group and then radio button. So all the buttons that are present in single radio group can be selected only once at a time. Let us see how. So whenever you are adding radio buttons for single selection, you have to first add a radio group, wrap content, and radio group is like a linear layout or like other layouts that we have seen, but it is used only to hold radio buttons. Now I added radio group. Inside this radio group, I will add a radio button, wrap content. We will set the text property of this radio button as net banking. So see here, a button is added with text net banking. You can design it, you can change its text size 20 SP, and you can give it a bit margin, or instead of giving margin to all the radio buttons, what you can do is you can give a common margin to the radio group. So whole radio group will be shifted, margin left let's say 30 SP. Okay. So the whole radio group is shifted, and ultimately all the buttons in the radio group will also be shifted. We will give this radio group a margin top of some 40 SPs. Now it is looking fine. After this, net banking, and give it an ID. So ID, let us say net underscore banking. Do not use space or capital letters while giving the IDs, usually avoid them. Next radio button, so we will copy it for now. Second one will be credit card and credit. Third one will be debit card, ID as debit. Change the IDs in case if you are copy pasting something, make sure you are changing the IDs. Okay. And fourth one will be, let us say, UPI. So here we will type UPI, the ID. So these are my 4 options. If you want to have some space in between them, you can use margin top to all the components. Okay. There is a space now in between all the components. If you want to draw a horizontal line, okay, so these are different components. What I want is there should be a horizontal line in between these components. So after net banking, radio button, here a line should be displayed, and to display that line we have to use view tag. So view is the parent of all the tags, text view, edit text, button, all these are child controls of view class. So this view is a simple class with no shape. You can give it any shape. So I will make its width as match parent and height as, let us say, 30 sp. Okay. And to recognize this view, what we will do is we will give it a background color, let us say black. Okay. So as you can see, a black box is formed. Now I want a simple line. So the line's height should be equal to something 3. Please. Excuse me, I am so sorry. परत repeat करते हैं. Repeat करते परत. नहीं राहु चलो. Okay. So to add a line, a simple line, we have to use view control. View is the parent of all the controls available. I have given its width as match parent and height as 3 sp. If you want your line to be more thin, you can change it from 3 to 2 sp or 1 sp, whatever is your requirement. Now why it is showing this much? Because it is part of this radio group, okay, and the width of the radio group is wrap content. So if you want that line on whole screen, you will have to change the width of radio group as match parent. Okay, so as you can see, a line is displayed. If you want to change its color, because usually lines are in grey color, so select a grey color from here. Okay. So this is how your design will now look like. Okay. I want some margin to this, so margin top 10 sp. Now it is looking quite good. So what we will do is we will copy this view and we will paste it after credit card, after debit card also. So now this is how my select payment mode activity is looking like. To add these horizontal lines, you have to add a simple view tag. Okay. After this, I have to add a button. So we will add the button after the radio group. A simple button, match parent, wrap content, text, confirm payment. Okay, so whenever user will select a option and he will click on confirm payment, we will give it margin top first, and then we will, you can change its background color as well. And then the text color, if you want, we will make the background color more light, it is not looking good. Yes. Okay. We will give it some margin from left and right. Okay. So we are in radio group. Why? We have to change the margins of the button. So margin left 50 sp, okay, and margin right 50 sp. Okay. So this is how now my button is looking like, and we have to give ID to this button, confirm. Okay. Usually use relevant IDs so that you will be able to identify the controls. Now we have to do the coding for this part. So as we have done the designing in activity_payment.xml, the coding of this design will be in payment_activity.java. So first what we will have to do is we will have to create the objects of radio buttons, then we will have to create the object of a button. Okay, so radio button. We have 4 radio buttons: net banking, debit card, credit card, UPI. And we have a normal button, confirm. Next step is to initialize the objects. So, after this, on create set content view, we will initialize our objects. N equals to find view by ID r dot id dot net banking. Yeah. Next one is d equals to, don't use d dot find view by ID, your app will not work. Okay, so d equals to find view by ID r dot id dot debit. Then c equals to find view by ID r dot id dot credit, and u equals to find view by ID r dot id dot UPI. And we will have to initialize the button as well. So, confirm equals to find view by ID r dot id dot confirm. Now, after selecting one of the payment modes, user will click on confirm button. So, confirm dot set on click listener new space capital O, enter. Okay. Here what we have to do is, we have to check whether user has selected a radio button or not. One of them should be compulsorily selected. It is similar to the validation. So, if n dot is checked, either n should be checked, or so parallel lines, 2 parallel lines are used for or, logical or, means either one of the conditions should be true. So, either n should be selected, or d should be checked, or d should be checked, or c should be checked, or u should be checked. If any of these condition is true, as we are using or means what? Logical or indicates that if any one condition is true, the whole statement is considered as true. Means either of these 4, any one is checked. So, what we will do? We will display a toast message, payment successful. Okay, simply toast message as payment successful. And after this payment successful, user, this current activity should close, and again the menu activity should appear. So, to close this current activity, or to close current activity, we use the function finish. So, what should happen? It will display payment successful, and then it will finish the current activity. Else means if user has not selected any of these radio buttons and has clicked on proceed to pay. So, we will display a toast message simply, please select mode of payment. Okay. So, this is how our app is going to work. Now, let us check whether it is working in this way or not. So, we will run this app. It is executing, installing. I will click on sandwich and coffee, generate bill, your bill is 80 rupees, proceed to pay. Okay. So, this is my select mode of payment activity. Please select mode of payment. If I click credit card, see, when I select debit card, credit card is automatically deselected, because these 4 radio buttons are of same radio group, and in a radio group you can select only one radio button. By default, this is the behavior of the radio group. Okay. Now, I have clicked a debit card, confirm payment, payment successful, the activity closes and the back activity comes in foreground. So, this billing activity is in the background, which comes in foreground. Alright. So, our one payment is successful now. Right. So, this is how we have made a small billing application. In the next video, we will see how to add a confirmation, so that user should again get a confirmation. Are you sure you want to pay this much rupees? So, we will pass the bill from main activity to payment activity. That's it for this video. See you again. Bye-bye.
For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.